I went to a party the night before writing my biology final exam. I was like,
So you were naughty.
Yeah, I was fucking naughty.
Yeah.
The main element in the music
was piano.
was the piano, you know. So it moved from Bathelintona Shy Number to Sebasbiza Amapiano now. So House African, born in Soweto, branded it and put it on a CD compilation and started calling it Amapiano.
Still not happy, bro, with the biggest events Amapiano being hosted outside South Africa.
No, that's you're right.
I'm not happy with that. I think we need to have our own Hall of Fame. Is that the right English? No?
Yep.
Right? We need to have the biggest festival that happens.
Like if I was an Amapiano artist right now, I wouldn't be trying to Afro-Nation it and I would really like be putting my energies into like China, Japan, Korea, and my trademark is under, I think, clause 15, which is musical instrument. So if Taki wants to trademark the word Amapiano under fashion and clothing,
He can be successful.
he can do it, you know. If you want to do it under construction, you can do it. If you want to do it under health, you know, like health products, you can do it, you know. But if now you are going to drop a keyboard or a drum kit or a drum kit and call it Amapiano,
Okay.
I'm going to see your ass.
Hello, Apostles. My name is Kenny Miles, K. Kans, the Kenny Silimo, Kans Child, and welcome to Piano Pop. Of course, guys, I am not alone. I'm with.
Shesha K. Mafito. So you can see we're excited.
Yeah. We actually are. The energy is up there.
Yeah.
And
Yo, what's up, South Africa? It's the KRUK.
hey, man, welcome to the show.
Glad to finally be here.
How are you feeling today?
Good space, man. A good space. I think a lot is happening. I think it's a good space to come share my story on. And yeah, let's have a frank chat, man.
Yeah, man.
French chat.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't lock jaws today. You know? And we don't check jaws. We don't check jaws today.
Yeah.
Man, as much as we're having fun, man, and I'm enjoying like listening to him, bro. Like so much knowledge. Maz, don't you have something for the pulses?
Of course, guys. You know I got you, right?
Let's go then.
Feeling lucky? Get ready to test this out. I am talking about a pragmatic play job of wins and promotion. Trust me, you don't want to miss this out, okay? From the 4th of June all the way to the 18th of November, you have a chance to grab a share of a massive 42 million in cash. That's right, baby. 42 million. You can win through their weekly wheel jobs and daily tournaments. It's super easy to get involved and the prices are absolutely insane, okay? To get started, make sure you use the special promo code
Piano.
And just a heads up, this opportunity is for people that are 18 years and older, so play responsibly, please. And get ready to get on the action and click the link in the comments to join. So we obviously have the segment, What's on Your Pulse? You obviously watched the show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, what is on your pulse today?
I think Tulani Way's Amapiano Africa Summit, you know, it was really dope to be out and feel what young people are thinking about piano, what they want to learn, what we still need to do as guys that have been in the space for a very long time. And just be in touch with the guys that really see a future in this thing, man, you know? I think that's very important. I think, I mean, I heard you guys on the last show talking about what I've done and what I haven't done, and you guys, you've got question marks and whatever, you know? And I felt the need to almost like start going out again, you know, speaking about my influence in the genre, what I've done, what I've helped do, who I helped get to wherever and who's helped me to get wherever, you know. And I think that's definitely what's on my pulse. It was a very, very dope time.
Can't wait for that, man. Talking about the summit, do you think that we sing, this is the second one, eh? This is
It's the third one.
It's the third one.
Yeah.
Do you think that we sing results of the intention of him creating the summit according to how you see it?
I think Tulane is an organized mess, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, just as a person, you know. But I like the fact that he's actually doing something, you know.
Okay.
I think there are many people that sit behind these cameras and in the comment sections, you know, that want to tell people how to make their music, that your music doesn't slap anymore. Or when we own a trademark, you know what I mean? Who are you, you know? That don't do stuff, man. But I think it's very important for us to just
How was the
start doing
vibe
stuff.
there?
It was dope, man. It was dope. I saw some really, really interesting people and some cool industry legends that have worked in the back of the industry, you know, sharing a word or two. So, which was dope.
Shout out to Tulan, man.
You mentioned, you know, at the summit Tuguti, there were people that were raising their concerns and what they were mentioning things that they feel like we could do better as piano, right?
Yeah.
And what were some of those things that they mentioned?
I think piano's built on collaboration and inclusion, you know. I think one of the reasons why I was drawn to piano is that the guys used to be like family, you know, where you'd find Njelic, you'd find them Tuda, you'd find a Lu 911, you'd find the Stix and you know. And I think somehow the money, the fame, and the access, you know, has almost caused a bit of a rift. And now it's a bit difficult for the younger generation to almost like follow suit in terms of building together and running as one, you know, because that's the power of piano, you know. The reason why piano became such a household genre and such a big phenomenon was because it just did not come from one direction. It came from many directions.
Right, okay, cool. Taka?
Yeah, Taki, what's on your pulse?
Oh man, I went to some event during the week, right? And I was there. I met Legao.
Okay.
Legao. Yeah.
Amen.
And he has a supermarket now. It's called I think Easy Price.
Yeah,
right?
I think I saw it. Yeah.
So supermarket sells groceries, and then he's got a liquor store as well, right? So I went to him and I asked him like, dude, now that you have like a liquor store, what do you think about the whole fake alcohol thing that's like happening? Because you're selling alcohol now. He's like, he doesn't really think much of it. And I asked him if the guys that actually make the stuff, the alcohol, have like approached him to like try sell it to him, right? And he was like to me, the alcohol margins are they're very small. So right, so like saving 100 rand per bottle is actually a lot of money when you're selling alcohol. Like, do you understand? And he was like, yes, he's had people talk about it, and he's saying that the difference isn't that much. It's like 100 rand. Like an original Hennessy would be like maybe 500 rand, and then a fake one would be like 400 rand. But remember, the clipper is still a lot, right? And he was telling me that he's not interested in selling stuff like that. I mean, he's opened his business to be credible, to sell original goods, unlike what the Indians, the Pakistanis are doing, you know? And he's like, he's not willing to tap into the market. Because I was like to him, dude, if you know these suppliers, just give them to me. Because I'm like, bro, at this point, if you can't beat them, my sister, just join them.
Do you understand
what I'm saying? Because, no, bro, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm like, bro, like alcohol has a lot of money. Illicit alcohol has a lot of money. And the thing is, we are well aware of the establishments that are selling fake alcohol. We know some of them, we know most of them. You'll go there, you'll feel sick the following day, and you'll still go back and buy the same bottle with expectation of so if these people are just willing to still buy that fake alcohol, why can't I just sell it to them then? Because I want the people that are cooking it in their houses. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want to fetch it from the supplier straight and then supply it. Because kuyafana mfethu. Kuyafana. At this point, kuyafana. And look, I was telling me that now he's going to be like a
That's a bit irresponsible to say.
No, of course, yeah.
That's
the thing, bro.
What
It
do you mean, bro?
It is irresponsible to say.
Jeez,
but
guys,
it's not like I'm going to be like, yo, I'm here, I'm selling fake alcohol. Or I'm going to be like the face of this fake alcohol thing. I can just be at the back of it and have someone fronting. I'm saying this thing is real, bro. The thing is, this market is too big.
But you're the same guy that complains about fake
alcohol. That's the thing. I even exposed establishments that sell fake alcohol.
But you still drink it.
I mean, I don't ask him. I don't touch bottles at clubs.
Okay.
Unless I know this is original. Or they show me the receipt.
No,
I
it doesn't.
impose. I drink beer. Even though it might be fake, I'll just rather go for that than a spirit
Then
straight.
spend the.
You know you can actually just scan the barcode.
That's the thing, bro. It's like you can scan fake sneakers now and it'll show you that thing. They have machines that make everything. They make receipts. They make plastics, packaging.
But the alcohol guys have come out and said that those guys have not gotten to that level as yet.
Okay.
Hence why the QR code is such a very important thing. So before you buy it, you can actually scan it in a QR code and it'll authenticate.
Don't they use? I think they use the original bottle, a used bottle. Yeah. Let's say whatever brand. They use the original bottle.
Yeah.
And then is the product inside that is not the one. How are you gonna scan leak or parag?
Yeah, but sometimes Fiso, I think what the trend was is that they're also starting to print the labels. You know? So I think it's just best to
scan it. Okay, the KRUK. Let me put it to you like this. I'm sorry to cut you now. I'll go to Macro right now. I go buy a bottle of Hennessy.
Okay.
That I get it's original. That QR code, whatever works. I just take that, I copy it 1,000 times. I put it on all these bottles. Then I scan it. It's not original.
No. I mean,
do you understand what I'm saying? So there is no way of stopping this thing.
That is what they're saying, but at least you can take that measure if you feel like a bottle of Jameson or Hennessy today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, I don't think you should join them. Continue to fight against them. You will win. You'll beat them at some point.
Okay.
Or maybe just stop drinking like Fiso.
Yeah. Oh. That's impossible.
Maybe. You know?
Maybe just make money out of it.
We have to wait for Jesus to come back for that one.
So what's on my pulse is I've been watching Real Housewives of Durban.
Oh,
honestly.
okay.
Like I love reality shows, right? So there's this girl. So there's basically Minnie and Londi, right? And now Minnie has just been on Londi's case. You know Minnie, right?
I know personally.
Yeah, Minnie and Londi London, right?
Yeah.
So Londi got back on the show. She was not on the show for first few episodes, and then when she got back, there's obviously like a new cast and all. And then there's this girl Minnie. She just keeps on getting on her back as if like there's something that Londi once did to her that she's not gonna confess, right? But my standpoint is like, why is it that with these reality TV shows, they're just always arguing and they can't just sit down and like talk things out like adults and just be fine with the whole thing? Like it's just they're always fighting about something. They're just always fighting about something.
Yeah, but
is that how they make their storylines? Is that how they get paid?
It's because it does views, bro. Would you sit down and watch a show where women are just complimenting each other?
Isn't that so emotional? Like if you would watch that show, it's so emotionally draining.
No,
like
I
even
watch
for
it.
the person who's watching, it's just like
I watch it, and because I was working with Londi London in studios, I asked her, I said, Londi, is that thing staged? It's like, oh no, okay, like Angi's when she. So it means like it's real. I don't know. She also doesn't know what the real beef is, but I asked her.
It can't be.
I think it's showbiz, man. I think what they're doing is dope.
Yeah,
They must just carry on.
But then my thing is, they're not acting. It's actually real.
But I don't think it's that deal that they'll like take it to the streets.
Let them beef. We got enough fridges.
They do take it to the streets though, Tahi. Like it's literally on the streets. Like Londi London, Manji, they don't get along. Like he said right now. Agamu.
Oh, she's the lead.
Londi was saying okay, like Mini doesn't like. Not she was saying Minangmuzo. No, Londi was saying
exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, she's the lady that said to me, going out to
yeah, but she ate.
Right. Yeah, but no, to be honest with you, I watch.
Yeah.
And I saw all those episodes you're talking about because I'm at home now. Like,
yeah, just chilling.
Yeah, so I watch. And my take with that one is that Londi's personality is intimidating.
It is.
Already.
Honestly.
If Londi enters this room, you're going to feel like, oh, shit.
Damn, what a woman.
Why? You know what I mean?
Why?
Nice team. I like
naturally,
personality,
Jay.
confidence.
Personality,
personality and confidence.
Like,
she knows
when she
knows
steps
who
in the
she
room,
is.
it's like, damn, who's this woman?
Yeah.
Wow.
She
like
knows
she
who she is. She's not trying to find or understand herself. Like,
she's that girl.
where's us putting you on? You get
and that girl, Minnie, definitely felt intimidated. She couldn't even hide it. Whatever it was that she had, Londi, whatever it is.
I know them, both of them. I know Minnie personally. She must have fighting with Londi. There's nothing to fight with.
Like Londi London stuff steps in rooms and she's like still
but now,
the girl?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Okay.
It's worse now with her business and growing.
Trust me.
Yeah,
man. Anyway, keep watching.
Yeah. That's all for me.
Oh, for me, oh man, I went back to. I'm starting this Nene life, like this self-care thing now.
Oh.
So I went to the same saloon where he went to cut for 1.5.
Damn. Talk about self.
I went there. I wanted to experience. The bro is dope. Like his energy, his aura, the studio that he's got his own studio where he does like the hairdressing and stuff like that. He's a nice guy. Like he gets there, he's playing like old music, hip hop and stuff like. He just set up a nice environment for you to go with your bros. So why is it expensive? Now I know because I wanted to understand is that we can go all of us as Piano Pulse cast, right? And just book the entire studio just for us for like 3, 4, 5 hours, and we can all cut and drink in the same place if we want to drink and have all those chats with the barber. So that's what makes it. You can also wash your car like in the same. So he wasn't explaining it right. It's dope. I enjoyed it. And then I went to Limpopo. I went to do this. I was bored there.
Buff and shine.
I went to do this thing. Abang limaza, I'm When's the land to lay?
Yeah, and it was actually very painful.
So you went to Limpopo to go do that?
No. I went for business, so I had free time. Like, it's Limpopo. What am I gonna do?
Okay.
So I'm like, let me just go try this buff and shine thing.
Nails are very painful. Now why something?
Bro, I really want to experience this thing. If you can hook me up, so I can experience, so I can keep it, because I feel like I want to take care of myself.
What type of a salon
Would you
did
do
you
it?
go
Huh?
to?
Yeah, this salon of you ladies.
Like, is it like luxurious or just like?
Limpopo talk. I mean, Lingyang, you know Zanin. Yeah.
Okay.
You're not gonna find it.
Taki probably also does buff and shy.
Did you do? Do you do it?
I used to do it, bro. I don't see the need.
You don't see
like, I have really bummy fingers. My fingers is like crooked. They're crooked as fuck.
The crook, do you?
I stopped going to the barber. Like, I cut myself now, so it's
Yeah.
that's how I stopped.
The nails? Do you also buff and shine?
Nah, I cut myself.
Damn.
I'm
So
a
I
man's man.
think,
So no one's gonna talk about the
so
new
yeah.
Cubs that drop.
Huh?
No one's gonna talk about the new Cubs that drop.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that.
Oh, okay. I was like,
We're going
okay,
there,
cool.
we're
No.
going.
Anyway, man, thank you
I was
for
quite
coming to the
excited
show.
about
I'm
it.
excited personally. For me, this is like I was saying to the team, like, I think for me this is origins, because we have a segment called Origins.
Okay.
So basically today we're just gonna do origins, because you have a lot that we need to know.
Cool.
Right? Where you come from, bro, and who are you for those who don't know you? Me, I already know you, but ngicela ubacacisele ukuthi ubani and why mina ngifuna ukubuza imibuzo ufuna ngibuze yona.
Hey, this man was doing push-ups before we started the show. So it's got many questions. My name is Kutlanu Nhlapo.
Yeah.
Known as the KRUK. I'm a radio guy, culture shaper, and I'm just inquisitive about culture, man, you know. Radio producer, documentary producer, voiceover artist, and music, whatever, you know. Kulele Davidson. Grew up Davidson. Grew up in Benoni, which is where I went to school.
Okay.
And that's where I actually met Saul.
Yeah, that's Israel.
Yeah, Eastern. Saul was still a rapper. His name was Savage. It's actually good.
He was a good rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Actually, crazy story. Crazy story. When I knew Saul was good, was Saul was in a cipher with Reason, and Saul beats Reason in a cipher. A rapping cipher. So Saul is that guy.
Yeah, he beat Alakine.
Yeah. It's
So-
out there. So,
What do you mean? Like there's footage?
yeah, I mean, they talk about it. They talk about it.
Oh, then he was here.
Yeah, like it was dope. And fast forward, went to UJ, did UJFM, met Saul again, you know, when at UJFM. And then fast forward, UJFM, went to YFM, worked with Saul again. And eventually Saul went to 5. I went to the UK and I did some cool stuff with a few radio stations in the UK and the BBC. And now I'm back just doing my own thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was your upbringing like? Because you sound like somebody who got it figured out from, like, you know, going to uni and radio and all of that.
Man, like being into Anasekazi, but that grew up from a very musical family. Like my dad was a huge collector, you know. I used to listen to acid jazz back in the day. I used to listen to guys like Jamiroquai back in the day, you know. And I come from a very, very rich musical home, you know. My dad was a huge collector from, I don't know if you remember, like music shops like Look and Listen, and there were many other like CD shops, you know. My dad used to buy like new shit all the time, and I think that's where my urge to know what's next in culture, especially music culture, comes from, I'm able to reference certain songs, sounds, samples, and I grew up like that, and that's the relationship that I have with my dad. So I think I was very musically inclined. I was also, apparently I was a naughty kid. I was a naughty kid.
Apparently.
Yeah, my dad used to say that he used to fuck me up all the time. I can't remember. So yeah, so that my mom used to teach outside of the province, and then eventually, when I grew up, she came back. Didn't have much of a relationship with her, but like now we've got a relationship. Like I love her to bits, and yeah, man, I was a cool kid. Kulele kasi, but obviously Eskeleza is in Gamleni, So it was also navigating those two worlds, and I think I started DJing in grade 11. DJing grade 11, which was probably like the best thing that happened for me because a lot of my childhood friends either got into crime at Davidson or started doing like weird shit, like taking drugs, and so music got me out. But I think the only thing I figured out was the fact that I want to do this radio thing because I also loved YFM, and the texture of what YFM as an institution was, I think why back in the day was like probably one of the best things that happened to like South African music, South African broadcasting, South African talent, because it's almost doing what Amapiano is doing now, like unearthing guys that you never thought would be like big superstars and they become overnight superstars. And I really love that about Y. And I think my dream came true when I worked for Y.
Top.
Yeah.
Top.
Do you have something?
No. I'm listening. You were saying?
So you mentioned that apparently you were a naughty kid, right? So I want to understand, were you those type of kids that go out and groove and all of that, right? And how do you establish wanting to be a DJ in grade 11?
Dude, like I went to a party the night before writing my biology final exam. I was that guy.
So you were a naughty.
Yeah, I was fucking naughty. Yeah. So so but I knew what I loved, During school holidays from I think grade 9, I was already job shadowing at Y. So there's a thing called job shadowing where you call HR and whoever's in HR, you ask them that you're this kid, you go to the school, you want to come for holidays just to see how they do the radio thing, run the studios, produce a show. And I used to job shadow DJ Spoo quite a bit, like while I was still in my school uniform. And I think I already knew, there's a lady that tweeted me the other day when we were doing almost like a career day kind of show and tell thing, where people wanted to be doctors and wanted to be nurses and wanted to be policemen. And I said I want to be a DJ. And yeah, it happened. Yeah.
Now, how inclined were you with like the Kasi production, music, and generally music production?
I'm a production of Kwaito, man. Like Kwaito brought most of us like 90s, late 80s kids up, Big fan of TKZ, was lucky to even work with Kabelo Mabalane, Got a song with him. Got a song that's unreleased with him. So
Damn, dude, how old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay. Understandable. Yeah.
It's like, dude, how old are you? You ask me how old he is.
Did I?
Maz.
Yeah, so man. So grew up in that era, loved TKZ, loved Alaska, loved Trompies, And I think when I started engaging with piano, the early days of piano gave me the same feeling that Kwaito gave me when like I started engaging Kwaito, So I think that's what like brought me closer to piano and like got me hectically involved in the piano space.
No.
Yeah. So now, sorry, I'm just.
No.
Oh,
So now
get in there.
you. How do you step into the piano game? Like, how do you enter it? How do you discover a piano? And how do you find yourself as one of the pioneers as you would say, am I wrong? As a pioneer of.
I don't think so.
Piano.
I think people say like I'm a pioneer because of how I started and the role I played in it.
Okay.
I've never called myself
a pioneer of
a
piano.
Piano, no. So how I got into piano was, I think, back in 2012, 2013. My YFM career was starting to take off, I got my dance show called The Players Club. And obviously now we are like the cool up and coming kids, we're starting to get gigs. We are gigging everywhere. We are those guys, you know, Moby Dick singing is hot, Prince KB is hot, you know, and Abom Shega, about Clock, you know what I mean?
How come I never met you, bro? I was around Prince KB and Moby a lot, bro. Like
It's
Moby's my homeboy.
yeah,
like,
bro. It's. I think the cool thing about the industry is that like the industry is big, so we might be in the same space,
and so they sourcing separately or different areas.
yeah, and like greet each other, and like we keep it moving, you know. So and I wouldn't say like I hung out with those guys, but it was like their time in terms of like music, you know what I mean? When like Better Days was hot, you know what I mean? And so what I would necessarily do, because I love music, I wouldn't take like a lot of gigs every single night, you know? I'll take like 2 gigs because I want to chill at a spot, just hear what DJs are playing, what the spot is like, you know what I mean? And before we would get on, because we were quote unquote like the headliners, because we had like radio, we had like the YFM gig guide, you know, people knew us from radio, is when the night picks up, there was just this melodic sound. And before Baby's piano, Baby's number.
Okay.
You know? And that was just being played by like the local guys in like those hoods. So whether you go to Forslow, whether you go to Mamelodi, whether you go to Kwatema, you know, there's just this sound where there's no vocal. It's like a progressive piano sound, but it's groovy as fuck. And the BPM is that of like just a little bit, just a bit of a faster kwaito, you know, but a bit slower than house, you know. So it was like a dope ambient groovy music. And then in between that set, there'll be like a remix of like Prince KB's Better Days, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Within that setting, you're like, what the fuck is this, you know? And like I just got like taken in by this, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember one day I was sitting with DJ Zandy and we're going to gigs, you know? Because at times like we'd all get booked at the same place like as YFM guys, you know? And shout out to DJ Zandy, man. Like he held my hand during those white times, you know what I mean? And yeah, I was sitting with him and I was like, dude, what's this? And it's like, hey man, this thing's like from Forslow Katlehong, you know what I mean? It's big. Start taking a lot more gigs in Forslow and Katlehong, you know, you'll start hearing a lot of the stuff. And that's when like I started like getting introduced to like guys like Abo MFR Souls, Abo Kaba Kanel, you know, Abo Ladi, you know. And these guys weren't known, but like those superstars in their own hoods.
Their own hoods, yeah.
Yeah, and it took me about 2 years to almost like get into the sound, get into who's doing what, how they doing it, you know. And while I was also doing my research, currently that's when House Africa started compiling the sound into those Amapiano Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, you know. But big shout out to Tim White and the guys from Born in Soweto, because they came together. Tim White is the guy that started House Africa with Vinny Da Vinci.
Okay.
So Tim White and Born in Soweto came together, started putting these compilations together, and now we had an actual physical copy to actually listen to the music. Now you know who's who, you know, but it was for me to gauge which hoods they come from, you know. And then fast forward to 2016, when I got my new radio contract on YFM, I was like, screw this, I love this. I'm going to start this thing called the Amapiano Hour, you know? And basically what this is going to do is I just want to put different guys from different hoods and just give them their flowers, you know?
So before I cut you, sorry.
Yeah.
Before you go further. So when you start, because you said it took you like 2 years to research and understanding the sound and hoods of each and every artist. It's just a number, and then you become the first guy to say, okay, I'm gonna have a show and I'm gonna call it Amapiano.
No, I think during my research, that's when the word Amapiano started like playing around. I don't know who came up with the word.
Okay.
I don't know who came up with the word, but I think it's a question that you can ask like about MFR Souls, you know. Or maybe it's just a word that came from the streets because of the main element in the music
was piano.
Was the piano, you know. So it moved from Batelintwana Shai Namba to Sabazbiza Amapiano now. So House Africa and Born in Soweto branded it and put it on a CD compilation and started calling it Amapiano.
As a playlist.
Yes, like as like a compilation.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, that's how the word Amapiano came about. So I'm not too sure who came up with it.
Okay.
And I did not come up with it. I wish I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to YFM.
Yeah, so we start the Amapiano hour, and the first guy that played on commercial radio, DJ on commercial radio was Gaba Canal on I think it was the 5th of May at YFM. Still got the picture, I think I still got the mix. And that was when we literally started bringing on like all these Amapiano guys that like are household names now onto like commercial radio to come play. And I think the dope thing about that time was that I'd love to say I knew what I was doing, but I was just going with the flow. And also, I think radio had taken a turn where the essence of radio is about giving Ikasi platform, So if Sfiso's from Soweto, you're from Alex, and he's from Mamelodi, I know that if Tach is the hottest DJ in Mumps, Mamelodi is going to be listening on that day. If Sfiso is from Soweto, Soweto's going to be listening. If Sfiso's that guy in Soweto, If she's from Alex Yonke is going to be listening, And that's how like I literally started carving this thing, to say, hey man, tell me who the hottest guy in your hood is that plays this piano thing. I'll put him on radio, And people were like, okay, I know Siamuzo Sfiso was a Soweto, but have you heard Josiah from Alex, And hit up Josiah. Josiah's on next week. You know what I mean? And like it started becoming like a bit of a snowball moment, where you start meeting these guys. And I think the crazy thing was the guys weren't a lot of the guys weren't media ready, They weren't radio ready, Like they just sat and did the sound. It was so dope, nah? But they went into the entire branding side of things. So I also had to win them from that side of thing, to say, hey man, like, don't worry, like, don't be scared of the mic, don't be scared of whatever. Like, I'll if maybe you're shy to say where you come from, like, I'll guide you through this thing, I'll help you. And I think like that's the kind of role that I kind of played, to get them warmer into like the media side of things and how to sell yourself on radio, how to package your music. I mean, I heard you guys talking about the last time on the show when you guys spoke about who was the first guy to put lyrics on Amapiano,
Okay.
And you were like, no, but Kabza did it first. And I think somebody had said, but the KRUK claims to do it first, And Kabza was an artist, so he definitely did it first from a release perspective.
Okay.
But a lot of the reason why I say I influenced it is because a lot of the guys now, because now they're mixing on YFM, they want to know how I can get my music into like the YFM playlisting. As a guy that manages artists, you know that radio has almost got like a format,
Yeah.
Your song has to be 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. It needs to have lyrical content. Like it needs to have somebody singing.
No vulgar,
no whatever. And that's what that was the advice that I was giving the guys. Which is like, guys, if you guys want your song to play on Waras's show, on Mo Flavor's show in the morning, on whoever's show, outside of this show, you guys need to put lyrics on the song, I mean, on this genre, And I obviously didn't tell Kabza, but I'm sure somebody in Kabza's camp, be it Pori or whoever, probably like gave him that information. And Umshove was born. And parallel to Umshove being the song that was that big song, Umshove was not the first Amapiano song to be playlisted on radio. Actually, the first Amapiano songs to be playlisted on radio were Bozing Master and Penser.
Yeah.
Botswara, Lebo Chomi, Timosha, Senyar Tlapatela. Those were the first songs because I think from a Bacardi standpoint or a Geza standpoint, they already had almost like a template from Bo Mojava, Lebo, all those guys, Boma Chance and that, okay, like we can still do these things and we can have like a Senyar Tlapatela and a Sofa Slahlane, and we can have like an edit for the streets that is vulgar, but we must also do like an edit for radio that is clean, So the Pretoria guys actually were the first guys to get played.
That was 2017.
Yeah, around
when the MFRDs were coming out.
Yep. Shuffle music.
Shuffle music, yeah. So those were the first guys to put
get
lyrics.
playlisted on radio,
on radio.
Ah,
To get
MacG.
playlisted on commercial radio. Because at that time I was also working in the music department at YFM. So I literally had to say to myself, if I'm going to go full circle with this thing, I need to get a job in the playlisting department so that I can influence the music.
You need to be a compiler.
Yes, so that the music that comes off my show gets played onto thingy. So man, it worked out nicely, and I think after Abu Mshove, I think that was around the time where Gabs and Pori started like working together, and the rest is history.
Dope. So you have a radio show. It's called Amapiano, right?
No. The radio show is called The Players Club. On the radio show, there's an hour called the Amapiano.
Amapiano. Okay. Yeah. Then you decide I'm gonna trademark this thing. So when you trademark this thing, what are you trademarking? Are you trademarking the genre, or are you trademarking the show that you have, which is the segment that you have?
So the crazy thing, okay, so the trademarking part happened when I was about to leave Y in 2019, 2020. Okay. No? So now I've done my almost 10 years at Y, and I'm like, what's next for me? You know, do I follow my colleagues to like a 5FM, Metro FM, or 947? Or do I try see from an international perspective what the sound is going to do, you know? Already I was doing like a segment on a British radio show called Drums Radio, where I was doing like a short South African house music segment where I'm doing like almost like entertainment news, but for like dance music in South Africa, because Prince KB was a superstar.
Cool the song.
You know what I mean?
I remember that one.
So I did a segment there, had a really, really good relationship with that radio station, and they were like, hey dog, like there's on the show that you do the segment on, we want a mix. Do you want to do a mix? Because we know that you DJ. And I'm like, hey guys, there's this thing called Amapiano that is big in South Africa. It's catching fire now. I think you guys could be the first to like break it in the UK. And reason why the UK was like such a dope melting pot is because of the diaspora, you know. There's people from Zimbabwe, there's people from Nigeria, there's a lot of South Africans in the UK. So reason why guys like Bo Prince KP again, Bo Moby Dixon would normally when they go overseas, they'll go to like the UK, they'll go to Ireland, they'll go to whatever. It's because of the diaspora, and their music basically brings them close to home because they can't come home all the time, you know. So the one thing that will bring you close to home is the sound in the music, you know. And the promoters were also part of the diaspora. So did that, and they asked me for the mix, and I was like, screw this, I'm going to do an Amapiano mix. Doing an Amapiano mix, they're like, what the hell is this?
There's no lock drum at the time.
No, there is lock drum.
There is lock drum.
Now this is late. This is like 2018, 2019.
Oh, okay.
You know, Mshove's out.
Yeah.
A few other songs out. Bosofa Slatlanya out. You know what I mean? So you take some of those songs, but there's still like the MFR's sound.
Yeah.
So now you can build a set, because now you can start a set with the MFR sound. Abu Chef, you know. Musical Chef was also like making dope music at the time. Tuda was making dope music at the time. I think Shesha Geza had come out. You know, I've actually got a crazy story about how Shesha
Geza.
Yeah, how Shesha Geza came about. Wait, let me just finish the story. Okay. So so it just started building, created this mix, sent it, and they were like, actually, this would be like something dope to like try out to the side, you know? And when I decided to leave Y, I hit up the people in the UK. I'm like, I'm actually like not on radio anymore. I'm looking for like a radio job. You know, they're like, okay, send us a proposal. And Drums Radio, which is like an online radio station in the UK, was also working with a little YFM of sort, a commercial radio station in the UK called the Beat London 103.6 FM, where they were feeding certain speciality shows to the Beat London, and pitched that show, did the proposal, and they're like, okay, cool, let's start it on Drums Radio. Did Drums Radio for I think 7-8 months, and then the lady from Drums Radio pitched the show to the Beat London to the Beat London, and that was when Shesha were coming out. You know, Shesha was big amongst like the Zimbabwean community because she echoed that Zim girl, you know what I mean? And there's like a crazy Zim community in the UK, you know? Got the show, we called the show Ama International. Called the show Ama International. That was around the time when Stokie and Vigro Deep had the songs Ama International. The 2 songs Ama International. Called that show, and that's how I got a British radio gig. And going back to your question about trademarking is then I was like, actually, like I'm doing so much, let me actually trademark these things that I'm doing, especially now that I'm taking it international, trademark Ama International from a so okay, how trademarking works is that trademarking has got classes. So there's a education and entertainment class, there's a communications class, there's a music instruments class, a music and instruments class, there's health, beauty and whatever, there's construction, or you know what I mean? And so I think there's 52 classes, 50 to 52 classes all in all. And when you trademark something, you choose under which class you put it under.
Yeah.
Based on what you want.
Based on what you want.
Yes, what you want and what you plan to do with the trademark that you want to do with it.
So you went for entertainment?
No, I did not go for entertainment. Because I was like, you know what? When this thing blows up, everyone is going to be playing in the entertainment, education, communication space of it. I went for music and instruments because my biggest plan and reason why I've never wanted to become an Amapiano DJ, was that I actually want to own my independence and play a position that no one else is going to play in the Amapiano fraternity, because everyone wanted a piece of piano now, guys from Afro House were jumping onto piano, rappers were jumping onto piano, and then I'm like, it's going to be a mess here, I've still got the cool platforms. I've still got the backstory of how I know piano to be, I've still got a few milestones of piano. I'm still the radio guy. And how about I trademark this thing so that one day I'm able to create an actual keyboard called Amapiano, and which is what we're doing now.
Oh, okay.
So it's my trademark is under, I think, class 15, which is musical instruments. So if Taki wants to trademark the word Amapiano under fashion and clothing,
it can be successful.
He can do it, If you want to do it under construction, you can do it. If you want to do it under health, like health products, you can do it, But if now you are going to drop a keyboard or a drum kit and call it Amapiano,
okay,
I'm going to see your ass.
Okay.
So that's how trademarking works. And the trademarking is easy, guys. And this is like one of the things that like I just want to share, I think Abelungu Kudala was too say, no, you're messing with my trademark. Do you know that I trademarked it? Trademarking is easy. Trademarking is just like how you register a company on CIPC. You can jump on CIPC, choose whatever class, check if the trademark is available, and register it. And CIPC will do their due diligence. And then if all they I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, they come back and they say, okay, cool, now you own the trademark.
So are you saying that then I can go and open a company, I don't know, maybe a club, and name it Amapiano under entertainment?
Yes, if nobody's
using it
anymore.
If nobody's using
Right.
it.
So
just
I think,
not under music instruments and what did you call it?
Yeah, then we're gonna have a problem.
Okay.
Houston, we're gonna have a problem.
Okay, cool.
So now you're working on a keyboard and you're gonna call it Amapiano.
Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna be so South African.
Yeah.
I like that. You wanted to tell a story about the song?
Oh snap. Game, man. What's your?
I'm intrigued.
No. He's sleeping.
Yeah, I'm sleeping, man.
He wants to hit me with that one.
Yeah, so one day I was interviewing Njelic, Njelic is another very, very like interesting character, like very, very dope guy. Njelic used to play on my show, and I'll tell you how I met Njelic. Njelic, I don't know what Njelic was doing, but Njelic got into piano. And somehow someone, I think them Tudors people referred me to Njelic, when they were starting to work together. And I bring him on, he plays on my show. I think this was around August, September, October, Spring Fiesta. So I'm playing at Spring Fiesta, and there's this guy that is standing in front watching me play, like just amazed, you know? I'm like, hey, this guy, I want to mention Lomund. And then get off stage, obviously, introduce himself. Name is Njelic. Hey, oh no, I played on your show, but 4 weeks back. Now, like, I knew the face, but you know, at that time, like, there's so many people that are playing on your show. Like, oh, yeah, you that guy. And then, I kid you not, 2 weeks later, Shesha Geza hits the stove, and Njelic is an overnight superstar. And during COVID, so like I used to do like these like Insta lives where like I chat to people, you know, Bokaba Kanel, Bong Njelic, you know. And how Shesha Geza came about was Njelic goes to them Tudor studio. So now they want to do a song, you know, but and like now they're not sure and whatever. And they're like, hey man, let's go get like a box of chicken wings, you know. Chicken lick, shameless plug for chicken licking. I hope they use this in their next ad and actually put them to the Njelic, because this is a true life story. You know, they buy chicken wings, you know, lay them to the and they chow chicken wings. And while Njelic ma chicken wings, you know, there's it's almost like a rustation, almost like a Ngoma Yase Crash, you know, that they used to sing as kids, you know. He used to sing it with his sisters and like a crash and then Shesha Geza, you know what I mean? He's busy like, yes. Ganti, Udem Tuda is recording. Is recording. By the time he was finished eating, Udem Tuda's like, he plays it back to him. Like, I'm going to record, why was I so, na. Udem Tuda's like, hey man, Amboti, lovey, sweetie, you know what I mean? And that's how Shesha Geza came about, according to Njelic. And the biggest song in Amapiano culture came off a box of flipping chicken wings.
When I heard that song, that's when I started believing in Amapiano at the time.
It came off a box of chicken wings, bro.
Shout out to Njelic, man. Shout out to Njelic. Maz.
Yeah, so you have a comic book, right?
Yeah.
Amapiano.
Yeah.
Can you please, without getting into like the specific of what's inside, what brought that idea? Why did you do that?
I think, again, it goes back to how I've always wanted to preserve Amapiano, you know, to create like the backstory of Amapiano. Like I said that I grew up on Kwaito music, you know. But the one thing that didn't happen for us, people that like grew up on Kwaito, is that like it wasn't well documented, you know. There were certain stories that were told in Kwaito that happened, like that weren't documented, you know. I think on record there's actually one Kwaito book, you know, that is written by a white guy, which for me is a problem, you know. And like it was a missed opportunity for like a lot of the Kwaito guys, because a lot of the documentation will sit at the SABC from shows like Abu Studio Mix to Abu Live, Abu One, Abu Jemeli, you know, but a lot of guys could have also documented like their own stories, how they made their music, and like just for archiving, so that now when Amapiano is hot, you know what I mean, you're able to say, okay, that song, Ya Focalistic Ering Tiki Tiki Yo, comes from this Mdu song Tiki Tiki Yo, which was made like this, you know. Mdu could literally come out with a studio session, you know, and we can make as many excuses as we want for Kwaito that they did not know, but hip hop was doing the same, you know, in the States. The fact that there could be like a Michael Jordan documentary or David Beckham documentary or a Tupac and Biggie documentary, you know, about their come up, their story, how they became big, to how he got killed, you know? And there's like pictures of him as a child, him trying to rap as a child, snippets of him in jail, you know what I mean? For me, it was like a huge missed opportunity from a Kwaito perspective. And I think that's the role I really want to play in Amapiano, to like document it, not be part of any crew, not be part of any movement, you know what I mean? But just be a fly on the wall to say, oh damn, and that looks like that's going to be like a milestone or a dope moment, and then package it into like something that we one day, when we talk about Amapiano, or whether we talk about Amapiano Pulse or whatever, you know, we can point to and say, actually, let's say the next genre becomes Iskupu Pulse, whatever, you know what I mean? And for us to show the next generation to say that actually this Iskupu Pulse thing borrows from Amapiano, ne? We can literally yank out an episode,
show.
a page out of Piano Pulse and say, this is what we mean, you know?
I mean, from back in the days, bro, like who's the guys that didn't live up to like the full potential in Amapiano that you thought you?
Yo, man, I think there's a crazy missed opportunity, you know, especially with the guys that like were coming out at that time. I think a lot of guys are being slept on, and funny enough, I was thinking about this this morning, you know, like guys like Abo Bantu Elements, you know, Bantu is like an amazing producer, you know.
Do you know him, Smiso?
No, I don't.
The Bantu Elements, I mean, Bostoki, you know, Bantu Elements, he was part of that, like that's always
okay. Okay.
Bantu Elements is amazing. A guy like Lou 911, you know? I'm sure you know
I
Lou
know him,
911.
yeah.
I mean, the first time I heard Dali Wonga was on a Lou 911 song. You know the song, Anfunim Cholo?
Yeah.
That was a Lou 911 song.
Oh, damn.
You know?
Yeah.
So, that guy, Quish. Quisha say like is for me, Quisha say is like one should be mentioned with Kabza, Mtuda, you know what I mean? MFR Souls, you know, because Quish had probably the first breakout Amapiano song with Gong Gong.
Yeah, Gong
with
Gong.
his cut. You know, he was the first guy to start touring UK in London.
UK, yeah.
Really?
He was the
before
first
Vigro
before
did.
everybody else.
Where is he
And
now?
I would even say the sound that Vigro was doing after that, when Vigro got deep, it was inspired by him, that Gong Gong song specifically,
Yes.
because from that Vigro deep just took
It just took off, you know. But those guys, from a Pretoria perspective, Calvin Fallow, you know what I mean? Flipping amazing producer. Snow Deep for me, you know what I mean? For me, Snow Deep is as important as a Stokey in terms of like how music used to move through like mixtapes.
Yeah, but
you know?
I mean, I feel like you were there in the beginning, right? You were there in the beginning of piano when it was growing and when it went international. You're still here now.
Yeah.
So then when you saw the likes of the Kelvin Fallows falling off and the Cubs rising, what advice would you give to Fallow then?
I think, bro, like, it's also just a branding thing, man. You know,
Yes.
I think, very good relationship with Fallow, very good relationship with Quish. You know what I mean? But I think, sometimes you need to move with the times, guys. You know, like sometimes you need to adapt. You know, sometimes you need to brand yourself better. You know, sometimes you need to get out of Ninja Aslam, you know what I mean? And want to be better.
Commercialize yourself.
Yes, and I really think, and a big shout out to Pori. I think like that's the polish that he gave to the game. You know, that's why there's a piano pulse today. You know, because no, like for real, because for there to be a piano pulse means that there needs to be like a traditional media that is reporting on piano.
Yeah.
You know, for you guys to be able to sit here week in, week out and talk about what's been happening with piano. You know, that's why brands like Red Bull are able to take like piano acts and like create like there's some phonics, you know. That's why piano guys are headlining Afro Nation, you know, because of when Pori came in and was like, Jen's like, let's watch this thing. Like,
yeah, man.
He was a salesman.
Yeah, like the talent is there, you know. You guys are very dope in what you do. Nah? I'll bring the business and branding acumen, you know, so that when a whiz kid and a Kabza are on the same stage, nah? Like they both top tier artists, you know, African artists, you know, and I think some of the guys just did not fathom that, you know, they didn't like that light bulb did not happen, you know, and the people that saw it were you waffled, you know. Where your Tylers of this world, you know, where
no, I don't think it's not them, bro.
No,
it's the people behind them.
But hear me out. I know a young stunner from Davidson.
Yeah.
Ne?
Yeah.
Young stunner used to work with Lala Regal.
Okay.
Lala Regal, one of my youngins, you know, like my boy from the hood. Like I know his house, I know his mother's house, and know his kid, you know what I mean? Young Stunner was intentional about, okay, I've got shit hot music, né? But also I need to build a brand around this music. Like I need to have like I can't just be le outer shy sport in 80 keys. You know what I mean? I need to have a much broader appeal, you know? And once you start doing that as an artist, you start being able to frequent different rooms. Now you're not just in the piano conversation. You're in the South African artist conversation. You know? And that's why I'm saying that like a lot of guys, were just happy with being amachita waselokishini ashayinamba. You know? And when the sound was progressing into like global stages, you know, into the UK wants to book people, you know, guys just did not look the part. They did not ooze the confidence, you know, they did not ooze the je ne sais quoi, you know.
Superstars.
So yeah, the superstardom, you know what I mean? I speak to guys in the UK in the very early days when like Amafest was coming up, which was there before Piano People. The first global Amapiano like festival was Amafest. You know? In the UK, you know? Amafest did a lot for piano cats, you know? But a lot of guys did not translate as much as Gamompela translated on Amafest. You know, like I even got it wrong. Like I thought like some of the guys, like, you know, like the guys that I know are going to like kill this thing, you know? But because Gamompela brought like a performance element to it, you know, then we're like, damn, like she's dope. I'm not just watching a DJ for like an hour, you know, just playing music, but like there's a dance element to it. There's like a choreography element to it, but it's still the piano music, you know, it's still like in the pocket of piano. But piano now can be something that
Can be performed.
we can perform.
Yeah, you
know?
are singing a Lebo Matos.
Yes, you can perform.
Yeah, you are singing a Lebo Matos at Tembisiete now,
So,
like live.
So without a Gamompela,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
doing the groundwork, a Waffles takes from that, that you can actually look good. You can actually wear your makeup. You can actually come from wherever you come from, you know, speak how you speak, you know, and just be a baddie, and actually DJ. And while my song is playing, jump in front and like just start a choreography thing with my team. And it works, bro, you know? And Waffles is no less of an artist than a Kabza is, you know? Because in her own pocket, in her own way, Waffles is still a proper and very impactful distributor of Amapiano, especially inclusivity in Amapiano. That like, yes, there's Kabza, the king of Amapiano, the guy that like locks himself in a studio for like 6 months and comes out with like new sounds and new wave and like a new energy of Amapiano. But there are people that like are always on the road, that are selling this thing to like a 12-year-old girl in the UK that is listening to Janae Aiko, listening to Beyonce, listening to Rihanna, you know what I mean? And I constantly say those artists that people get onto podcasts and get onto social media platforms and talk shit about are as important as the guys that we call the kings and like the originators of the sound, because they are creating the reach that the originators don't create. You know, the originators are creating a different perspective of the sound while they make sure that the reach is there, you know? Reason why Amapiano is a staple on like stages like Coachella now, is because of people like Waffles.
Yeah, but
let's not lie.
Yeah, and I understand that. But now at Coachella, who's coining from Amapiano?
Yeah,
who's making the most money from that thing? Shouldn't it be like the artists that are making a lot more, like the originators of the sound that should be, you know, headline, like really like funding this whole Coachella thing? Why should it be people from the outside that are like milking off of Amapiano?
I think,
and another thing I heard, Mas, I think you know this, that when our artists go perform at these big stages like Afro Nation and them, they're not treated as like superstars. They just get that they perform, the crowd loves them, and after that it's just, yeah, you can go to your hotel or whatever. They're not treated as such like we treated Drake Ross or like a Drake when they come to South Africa. What do you think that is?
I think my biggest thing, man, is the energy that you also bring to the build up to those festivals, you know? If I'm a Tahi and they try to book me and Kikense Matso you know, and I'm like, yo, I'm playing my first UK gig and you know, that creates an idea that, okay, this guy needs us more than we need him, you know? Then they'll treat you like that. But some of the best guys that are performing the best outside of South Africa in the Amapiano circles are well managed. I keep on saying that reason why like a corporate, like a corporate company, any corporate company, a CEO is the most paid, is that a CEO oversees what, let's say we're talking about an engineering company, is that an engineer who's very, very important in the company and in like the day-to-day of the company can't see, They see the vision, they see what we're trying to build with this thing, they see the structure, they know how to position the brand, they know how to position the company, you know what I mean? And let's look at all the Amapiano artists that are really, really doing well abroad, They're well managed. They're well managed. And what they do is that from the jump, the outlook is global, I look at Waffles, a Tyler, you know what I mean? Deben Gogo, Efoka, you know what I mean? The energy, their texture oozes.
No, man. The KRUK, wait,
global.
bro.
Wait.
I get you, man. Wait, just give me a second, chat.
Yeah.
Bro, at Afro Nation, if they book Maporisa and they book Burna Boy at Afro Nation, who's more important at a festival like that?
On Amapiano festival.
It's at Afro Nation. It's an Amapiano festival. They booked the thing in
It's not an
Maporisa.
No. Afro Nation, it's not
It's not
Amapiano festival. No.
Well, I thought it was.
No. It's
There's
not.
an Amapiano stage and there's the main
Amapiano,
stage.
yeah.
So then I'll be talking about Amapiano DMV then.
There's stages. Like it's
stages.
an event with a couple of stages. So the
And-
Amapiano has a stage.
And also my Gina, I don't think everyone gets treated like the guys that come onto socials and say that, we got to this festival, they little broed me and but like it's always the build up to when they book you.
Okay, can I step in there? Right. So obviously with the South African artists, right, there would be communication with the management via Zoom calls, via whatever, right? So what energy do I need to ooze to you for you to take me seriously? Because now it's not a case of I've arrived, I'm there at the event and I'm not sitting like this, or I'm not like oozing an energy that would present to you that I'm like, belittling myself and
Like
all
timid
of that.
and stuff.
Like,
Firstly, guys, Spotify comes out with like stream numbers and
Monthly listeners.
and monthly listeners and if I'm your manager and I know what your analytics look like, I know the value that you bring to the show.
okay.
I must sell it when we are talking booking fees, how you get there, the number of people that you coming with, if you bring a videographer, and what your entourage, your technical writer is, you know what I mean, and your brand is bringing to that festival, the value that you bring to that festival. Your management is like your backbone when you're not there as an artist. They're the people that say, actually, Tachi's not going to take 20 Rand, Tachi's worth 40 Rand. And this is why it's worth 40 Rand, But a lot of managers, not every single manager, because there's some Amapiano artists that are really doing well, and you can see that they're really doing well, Do not do that to build the case that actually, I'm not going to take this 20 Rand because you're undervaluing us. And as much as Amapiano artists are a clique and we all talk about certain things, global promoters are a clique too. That, oh man, I got Sfiso for 20 Rand, Now, the KRUK is coming and saying, Sfiso, 20,
I feel I'm a KRUK, man.
Yes, now saying 20, Mars is saying, Sfiso, 20, man, you know what I mean? So it really goes with how the management sells your value to the stage that you're going to be gracing. And my thing is that if you feel that you're bigger than what they're trying to pay you and how they're trying to treat you, you've still got the opportunity to say no and walk away from it.
Nah, but also for them, it's
But
about status.
No, but
Yeah, but you were saying, sorry.
I want to disagree with him because I want to come also to what Taki was trying to say is that, okay, you came looking for my artist. Let's say let's say in this case, please pick someone. Okay, let's say in this case, Kamon Pell is my artist right now. So you made contact because we don't approach you. We don't approach Afro Nations, for instance, for gigs. They approach us. You basically know the value already. You get what I'm saying of what you're coming to get, right? So, and what I don't like with what they do right now.
So I'm Afro Nation.
Yeah, you're Afro Nations. So what I don't like what you're doing right now with that is that when I was like, give me a budget, 400K, 400K, you don't book my flights. If you don't know, they don't book flights, so you book your own flights.
Fair.
Right?
Yeah.
So you are giving me a 400K budget and whatever amount in US dollars.
Yes.
And my dollars or so. And I agree on that quote probably a month before you make a payment.
Okay.
You hear what I'm saying? A month before you make a payment. And dollar does this. By the time it gets here, it's no longer that 400K that I quoted you. You are aware of that.
But so in any business, there's what you call risk assessment. You know? And your management is supposed to do that for you. To say that, okay, cool. Sfiso's just got a new breaking song, got a hit song, we want Sfiso to go global now, Yes, we might not make money for him playing Afro Nation for the first time, But is it important for Sfiso to be on that Afro Nation stage, Amapiano? Yes, it is, We'll take it. But, you make it clear that, hey, dude, we're bringing more value to this, For this one, we'll do it at this. But don't ever think that you can come back with this again.
Yeah, but
you've been an artist manager.
Right. Yeah, but you just said, I don't want you to lose it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't want you to lie. You just said it. Those promoters talk. So I'm sacrificing that one gig because I know what it will do for my artist.
It's fine, yeah.
Right? And that promoter is Afro Nation's promoter, right? I take that gig, I just do everything for PR, image, and increasing my artist profile and everything else because that's what it does.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next gig comes from UK and he contacts the same guy. And you need to know that most guys, half of people that are doing Afro Nations in Portugal, half of them are doing Amapiano festival
they're doing like piano people and
they're the same people.
Yeah.
How is these people gonna come back and pay me my value now? When now we must go to the UK because 400K.
Yeah, then for the next show you must say no because this is what we agreed on. I think the issue with like African artists in Jay as a whole, we haven't gotten to a point, but I think like the Nigerians with Afro beats have done it very well. They know their value.
Yeah,
that is why Burna Boy can go headline a stadium in the UK. That's why he can go play Wembley. Because he knows what he's bringing to the table. And I'm not saying that as a genre we shouldn't make those mistakes. Now that we know, the fact that we're having this conversation is that this is a going conversation amongst our industry. It's really for Amapiano to sit down and say, actually, there's certain things that we won't do anymore.
Okay.
And from a management perspective, right. You know what, Ntwana, when I just keep on churning out the hits, if we feel that we don't want to play Afro Nation this year, and we've got a bit of money from the gigs that we did locally, let's find another promoter in Ibiza, to go push your stuff in Ibiza. Like it like there's no one size fits all for it, but also and we can't sit here and say Afro Nation is not giving value, like brand value for being on the Afro Nation stage, They do, but it must almost be like a mutual agreement as to what we're both getting from this, And in the invoice that you give them, you actually say, this is the normal price, This is the discount that we're giving you for this particular one.
Okay.
And you're booking me for this. So that the next time they come, you send that one note, guys, I can't be giving you discounted 20-30% all the time. Now I want my full fee. And if they, and then you say no.
I'm still not happy, bro, with the biggest events Amapiano being hosted outside South Africa.
No, that's you're right.
I'm not happy with that. I think we need to have our own Hall of Fame. Is that the right English?
Yep.
Right? We need to have the biggest festival that happens when Amapiano happens. Because right now we are taking the money with what you call
Nation.
tourism and whatever. We are taking our own money to go there because they're giving us money, and then we're spending it back to them.
Yeah.
And we go to their country and spend it there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How are we making money? We're not benefiting from Amapiano. So why don't we have like the biggest festival happening? Let's say you shut down F&B, for instance, stadium.
I think
And everybody, they must come to us. How can we get to that?
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
I think the craziest thing, and you make a very valid point, that government needs to come to the fold now, because wait.
Those ones.
No, but hear me out. Is that reason why these other territories are able to foot the bill for like such festivals, is that a chunk of their funding comes from government institutions, I mean, I was sitting in a conversation while I was in China. I mean, I was telling you that I was in China. There's a cultural exchange program that like the Chinese are doing where I think whether this year or next year, depending on when we agree on what we want to do, they want us to do like cultural exchange program to bring like Amapiano acts that side, because Amapiano is starting to pick up now.
In China?
Yep.
Crazy.
What Amapiano are they listening to?
The Amapiano that you listen to here.
The Scoop one.
Any.
Damn.
The crazy thing about China is that China's also got a diaspora, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't want them to start making piano.
No.
How is that gonna sound?
No, but the thing is that the movement moves up amongst like mainly like South African teachers, you know what I mean?
That's
like teaching abroad and they're the ones that go to these clubs.
So the African part of the diaspora is the one that listen to
Amapiano, and then now they started creating like their own cultures and communities. You know what I mean?
Like what is happening in DC?
Yes. I mean, the fact that I'm sure when Saul went to I was watching the podcast and he was talking about him getting booked in Shanghai. I'm sure it's someone from like Zimbabwe or Nigeria or like SADC, that
honestly, I feel like the Zimbabweans are actually running with the Amapiano thing internationally more than we are.
Yeah, because Zimbabwe economically has been struggling for a very long time as a country.
Yeah.
And they started dispersing to different parts of the world.
Of course.
Way earlier than we started as South Africans. So that's why there's like crazy communities of like Zimbabwean people in many different parts of the world,
They're switching too quick, man.
Yeah. So so we were sitting having that conversation, and about 80% of that cultural exchange program, which ends up into like a big festival, and festivals in China are huge, bro. Like festivals in China are like 200,000 people, so it's like twice the F&B, and that's what like a cultural exchange program looks like in China. Like if I was an Amapiano artist right now, I wouldn't be trying to Afro-Nation it and I would really like be putting my energies into like China, Japan, Korea and it's because there once you hit like the 20%, you are really, really making like crazy guap and actually just playing like big ass festivals. And also just from a production perspective, like Chinese are always going to be better than everyone because they create the lights.
Yeah, that's why I don't want them. That's why we don't want them to
equipment.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, do you believe that we just making the music and everybody else in the world is just coining from Amapiano?
Do you know why?
Why?
We don't move around.
Okay, so but you believe it's true, nah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then also, bro, what do you think of the current state of the game right now? Like Amapiano is, are you happy with it? Just a quick answer.
I think I actually wrote the statement that you're reading, that the DOA.
The death of Amapiano.
Yeah, well, it was the death of Amapiano and turned it to the development of Amapiano.
Okay.
Is that Amapiano is developing. I mean, I think now we're starting to learn more about what the game is about, what's needed for an artist to become a charting artist, a artist that makes a bit of money, and on Monday I'm actually putting out like a handbook, 90 pages, nothing too crazy, about my experiences about like how artists should be managed, especially from a starting point of Amapiano, So do follow me, DAKRUK on the socials, and the The book's link will be in my bio.
I would like to have one. We will put
Is it
one here
free?
for a week.
Yeah.
Is it free?
Yes,
Yeah, please send us one. We'll put one here for 2 or 3 weeks.
He said it's free?
Yeah,
No, it's going to be an ebook
And I
for
want
now.
to read.
Ebook.
I want to read it. Oh, okay.
It's going to be an ebook for now. But yeah, like maybe I'll think it.
Please.
I'll print out cover.
Yeah,
to
please.
leave it here.
We had some struggling rappers, bro, or fallen rappers. I don't know if that even the
What
right
the
English.
hell?
People who are not making money from music anymore that used to rap, saying that we don't have superstars on Amapiano. We don't have. Amapiano is gonna die or is dying or nobody wants to listen. There's one specific one that is struggling for real. He said like, no one wants to hear Amapiano. People are tired. What's your take, bro? Since you are someone who came with it, you're still doing stuff for it, and you live with Amapiano artists around you.
I think I'm going to mince my words because the guy that said that is a very good friend of mine. So
Speedster.
yeah, me and him have like these chats, you know. But it's in his own right for him to say people are tired of Amapiano because he's obviously representing hip hop. You know, it's fine. Like we sit here, or you guys sit here, and I sit in my little corner every week and say Amapiano is the biggest thing. There's someone in his own little corner saying Deep House is the biggest thing. You know, it's well within his right. You know, but I think the beauty about Amapiano, né, is that it's almost taken to what like house music and kwaito music has done. You know. And has included and has tapped into other genres to create subgenres. So how we consumed piano between 2015 and 2020, né? It's not how we consume piano now, you know? Hence why you've got like the Kelvin Momo pocket, you know? You've got the Mellow and Sleazy pocket, you know? You've got the Geza pocket with who's the guy that Mtunzi, you know? And Gabza's working with Tukzin now, with Lala Tukzin, you know? So piano's like literally creating pockets and for something to be big, né? It does that. Like it doesn't stay in one shape or form. It starts creating that, okay, I like piano, but I like the soulful side of piano. And that's what I'm going to consume, you know, that's going to be my thing, you know. I like the skija side of piano, you know. I like the strata, the hard hitting, you know. Speaker, you know what I mean? And that's how piano's multiplied, you know.
Hey man, what do you think of?
He's just trying to kill it.
What do you think of Kwapi, man?
Kwapi's dope, bro. Like Sam Deep is my guy, man. Sam Deep is my guy. Like Sam Deep's my guy, man. Like Sam, like I haven't met him yet, funny enough, but I show him love all the time on the socials, and he started following me, and I see him checking out my posts at times. But Sam Deep, Natsho, Stix, my guys, man. Like I love their sound, man. I love how authentic it is. I love how
You think it's authentic?
Yeah, they borrow from Kwaito, but like it doesn't sound forced. You know, like it's almost created like another version of piano, like what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's just given like another like lifeline. I mean, there's a song on the new Kwapi album where they took like ad-libs from Alaska, you know? And it's so dope. Like it's just in the pocket, man. Like imnandi, like it doesn't feel like I'm forcing it into the music, you know?
Yeah.
It just comes in nicely at the right time and it's used correctly, you know?
How far do you think it'll go?
I think it's going to revive what Amaroto had started.
Do you think it's international product?
I don't know yet. But again, it's how the guys brand themselves and what kind of management they've got in the background having these conversations on their behalf. You know, I think they are disrupting. You know, they are disrupting. They are getting listened to. They all come from like the right camps, you know. Stix was with Kelvin Momo, you know what I mean? So already that almost like brings in that community or that listenership, you know what I mean, to follow him, to create his own path. Sam Deep.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Deep comes from them Tudor side of things. I think started working with them Tudor, if I'm not mistaken, you know. So they are disruptors in their own right. That's why we're able to have this conversation now. But it's how they elevate it and brand themselves with the sound and to say that, okay, cool, we hear that there are many subgenres of piano, you know what I mean? But this can also live on a world stage and how they brand that, you know? I think another guy that like is not mentioned enough is is how Vigro Deep like
Finally,
like
somebody's
branded his sound
Yep.
to live on like crazy 20,000 pack stages. You know what I mean? In Belgium, in Poland, in Norway. You know what I mean? I can put my head on the block and say Vigro Deep is probably the first piano guy to play main stage on Tomorrowland.
Now,
Because of the sound. Main stage. And I know, I think Devin Gogo's played Tomorrowland on a certain stage, but I think first piano guy who's going to play main stage on Tomorrowland because of the sound and like how far the sound can go and can live within that EDM kind of pocket.
So are you saying that also with the Guapi guys, for them to be international product, they should also step into, mixing the sounds and making it like, we've spoken about this actually, making it familiar to the international ear?
I think international is very diverse, man. International is very diverse. I mean, we've spoken about.
But
sorry,
wait,
let me just let me just finish my thought. I think international is very diverse because there's the diaspora market. I think Kwapi is definitely gonna be easy to like throw into that diaspora market. Where the Zimbabweans that grew up on Kwaito, on a bit of Prince KB, on a bit of MFR Souls, Moby Dixon. You know what I mean? Because those guys know who a TKZ are. They know who
Mendoza.
a Mendoza is. You know what I mean? They know who a Brenda Fassie is and an Alaska are because Kwaito wasn't documented, but those guys actually performed in the UK. They used to perform abroad. The crazy story about TKZ recording Shibobo Nopeni, is that they made the song that the conversation, Zwei had to fly to Netherlands because Benny was playing for Ajax Amsterdam at the time, recorded the vocals, brought it back, you know what I mean? And TKZ has filled out arenas in the UK during their time. It just was not documented for us to see and say, oh man, this thing has been happening, So I think you must just choose your pocket. And I think Vigro is intentional about his pocket, about that, hey man, I want to play in like dark, hard-hitting rooms in like corners of UK that you guys will never get to because my sound allows me to play into those rooms, I want to play like a crazy festival in like Belgium where there's 200,000 people, there's 40 stages, you know what I mean? And I'm playing after Calvin Harris,
I don't hear you speaking.
Let me just. I was saying, in terms of like Guapi making it international, I feel like the guys follow what we listen to anyway. I don't think they're in the whole discovery phase. So whatever's popping on TikTok, whatever we jam into, whatever's trending at the moment, they're bound to book that person. And at the moment, you can see what Guapi is like doing on TikTok with the whole scuba thing. It's already doing well. So obviously the promoters are looking at that. So that's how I feel the sound will go international.
You do. You would agree that Kelvin Momo's songs are always trending on TikTok, right?
Kelvin Momo, yeah.
Now, let me ask you, right? Or you maybe.
Yeah.
Do you know what sound Kelvin Momo plays when he goes internationally?
I have no idea.
Do you know?
I've heard.
What sound does he play?
I think he plays some of his songs, but also plays like a bit of like the hard-hitting stuff, yeah. Like the school stuff. Yeah.
Okay, you were saying, Mas?
I think that answers you.
Yeah. So
wait, what are you saying? It's not performable like outside.
But also
There needs to be a mixture.
But also guys, what makes a good DJ and I don't want us to water down what Momo plays when he's abroad. What makes a good DJ is the ability to read the room. And if Momo has to play Asibe Happy, you know what I mean? Because the room needs an Asibe Happy, like he's played some of his nice songs to build his set and like change the energy in the room and like he needs to like take it up. He must play it, because it still represents the genre that birthed him, So I think it's very unfair to want a Kelvin Momo to play like his private school, the private school that he plays like Deep Alexandra, or Go Piano Hub, to be at a big stage globally where he's the headliner and like he does not play some of the popular songs that the people there that are there for. You know what I mean? I know a lot of deep house guys that are typically deep house in South Africa when they go abroad, when they go to an Ibiza, when they go to a Croatia, you know what I mean? And they go to these different parts, like we'll play like Afro House because that's what they love. And that's what makes a good DJ, to know who you're playing for and how you're able to finesse your DNA, you know, while also playing what the crowd want.
So in order for Kwapi to make it internationally, there needs to be a mixture of a sound that would obviously make the crowd go wild a bit and make them, you know, feel in the moment, is what you're saying.
I think they've got, man, like a few songs that are in the pocket of like proper piano songs. I mean, Sam Deep's catalog is rich, you know, so far, you know. Sam Deep's catalog is rich so far. Stix's catalog is also like getting there. Like it's starting. I mean, Sam Deep has got like proper songs that like charted, you know. That's why like we actually know him, you know. And so for a Sam Deep to maybe play in the UK, you know, yes, he can play the Kwapi stuff, you know what I mean, just to introduce himself and teach the people what he's about now, you know, and he can go into the stuff that like they know and they love and that they can sing along to. So I think it's also how they presented the stuff. I mean, Limek and Scott's Mapuma were in the UK now, you know, and people would touch and go about like how that's going to translate, you know, but because their catalog is so rich, you know, and they've got like certain songs that like are like hard hitting songs, you know, they were able to like mix that up nicely, and they killed it, you know. I mean, after the UK, I think they went to Amsterdam or the Netherlands somewhere, you know, and they killed that show, you know, when Scott was still having like his social media issues and I think that's the making of a really, really, really great artist that okay, I know where I'm going. I mustn't be shy to play things that maybe in South Africa they might not appreciate anymore because they're not as popular as they still are to these people. Because what we need to realize is that what is old to us is probably still like a staple to them, because we walk out here, we can go have a drink now. The chances of us hearing a piano song in a restaurant or a piano mix in a restaurant is almost like 9 times out of 10, you know? But for them, it's still like a weekend, month-end thing, you know? So
I wanted to ask, because I don't hear you speaking a lot about vocalists, especially female vocalists.
Cool.
So you are a lot into production and the blues that actually make the music. Do you have any female favorite vocalist or two? Give me two then.
Shoo, quite a bit, man. Quite a bit. And to speak to what you're saying, I think it was a missed opportunity to have the conversation, and I'm glad that you brought it, you know. When the Spotify numbers came out, you know, it said piano is the highest genre in terms of inclusivity for like females. It went up 87% in the past year, you know. So it means that a lot more females are getting recognized, are eating from piano, and are getting recognized within the piano realm to become their own artists. And going back to vocalists, I big fan of Babalwa, you know, big fan of Babalwa. I think she's just got that thing, man, you know, got that thing. Love Tato Hatsi and Tracy, you know. Love Lady Do. She's still got like a grimy Sister Boza thing about her, you know. Who else? I think quite a few, man. Like a lot aren't coming to mind, but these are the kind of people that like I kind of like listen to like now that like I'm constantly like going back to play back in the car and whatever, you know. But I think for now, Baba Alwa for me is like my ride or die, and that Tato Hatsi Tracy thing that's happening is also.
Why are you laughing, Mas?
I'm just.
Are you expecting to say Papi Kupa? That's Starry's favorite female vocalist.
I think Papi's dope, man. I think Papi's dope. I think
he loves her.
I think Papi's dope. But also what I like does not determine how popular people are. You know, I think Papi speaks to a very young market, and not necessarily the kind of piano that I'll be bumping in the car. And yeah, that's what I think. But I think Papi's an amazing artist.
Yeah. Hey man, where did you see Amapiano? because we can talk for the whole day here. Because we didn't want to talk too much. We wanted you to because we wanted to educate as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we. Where do you see Amapiano in the next 10 years? And what are you up to now after this? What's going on? What can we see next year apart from the book that you mentioned?
Bro, yeah, man. I mean, she mentioned that I'm writing a comic. You know, I'm busy with a comic because I'm big on how people consume Amapiano. You know, I'm big on how we sell Amapiano as a lifestyle. You know, and as a story. Like I told you that I want to archive the story. I want the story to live longer than the genre lives. You know. So I've started a comic series. Did one around do TRP and how we discovered the log drum. So. Also, a reason why I did the comic series is because we live in an age where people aren't really reading like long books, you know what I mean, or consuming long pieces of content, you know. So it's also important to like put in short form content where somebody can literally sit and read like a 6-page thing where there's a bit of humor in it, there's a bit of a spice of life in it, but there's also a fact in it, you know, that this is the guy that actually discovered the log drum before the log drum became a whatever, you know.
Are you thinking of doing a documentary? Sorry to interject.
I've got a documentary with the BBC.
You do?
It's got over 1 million views.
Damn. Do you know it's something?
No, he said it on the show. He said,
oh, okay.
He said documentary.
Yeah, watch it.
Amapiano.
Yeah, it's called This is Amapiano.
Oh, definitely.
What year was it?
Check it out.
It was about 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So,
I think we need to go again this year, bro.
Yeah, no.
Do something recent.
No. But what I am doing now is obviously the comic series. Obviously because of the thing that happened with the DOA saga, I decided to like package that and like put it into like a book format, you know, for the up and coming ones. But I'm also writing a book, like a proper documentation of like my experiences in Amapiano. The book is called Inamba, the story of Amapiano. It's 80% done. I can't finish it because so much is happening, you know. I mean, when you think you're finishing, Momo's getting a symphonic, you know, that is doing crazy numbers, you know. When you think you're done, TXC is winning like a BET, you know what I mean? So I think that's going to take a while, but I think the things that are going to be consuming me right now is just dropping the comics weekly. And I got a call from a very news corporation in Auckland Park to see how we can collaborate in distributing the comics. So I think we might get to a point where Amapiano becomes the next Super Strikers.
I mean, on the comic strip with you I think it ends by saying that this is going to be one of the like someone saw it as like something that's going to be great, played in clubs, played festivals, and all of that. Don't you think that the ending of the book for now should also be something like that? And then maybe there's you can make another part of it.
I think. Are you talking about the book or the comic?
The comic.
No.
Both the comic and the book.
Well, the comic is going to come out weekly. So I'm going to be touching on like different milestones of piano. I think the one that's coming out this coming week, I think it's going to come out on Wednesday. Yeah, well, the show would have aired. Yeah, it's going to come out on Wednesday. And basically talks about how Pori met Geza. You know, 2018, Pori was putting together a lineup for like Pori Land, you know, and he was doing it in Soweto, and piano was starting to like take off. Mshove had just come out, and Pori put Stoki on the lineup and Geza on the lineup, and fast forward, they did like the Scorpion Kicks thing, you know. But it's very condensed, very quick read, you know what I mean? A very fun read too, you know, because obviously with comics, like you need to like make certain jokes, nuances. I threw in a young Aukona Halida, you know what I mean? And just so that like it still speaks to the now, you know. So I think that's going to be cool. And I was actually thinking with the comic, how dope would it be to like have like a comic launch after maybe 10 episodes and not invite like adults, but like go to like different like nursery schools or the crash or whatever, and just have kids and just like read these comics to these kids. Like, I think it would be so dope, you know, because I think what I'm trying to do with the comic is making it so relatable that a kid that is 6 right now, that is singing Itamap or the Itamomageva, you know what I mean? Is able to say, these guys come from the same environment that I come from, and if I'm dedicated to whatever I do, you know, I'm able to also make it out the hood. So
This being a generation that believes in visuals and audios, how are you gonna? Do you think the approach of writing? How are you gonna get a Limek to read a book, for instance?
The comic is I think over time is also going to be getting into the Popeye, hopefully on like Cartoon Network and whatever. Yeah, so
Cartoon Network.
Yeah, so I want to get into that. I'm basically going to take the Super Strikers format.
That one will work.
And like run with it, you know.
That one I'll tell you for free.
After Cocomelon,
you don't
there's
think
like
on social media?
That one will work for free. Imagine a Kabza on cartoons.
I think
with the AI and his voice, it's gonna slap because he's a funny guy.
I think social media is dope, nah? I think social media is dope, but I think let's also like lean on traditional media because that's, I mean, mothers and fathers can tell you that sometimes when they're just chilling with their kids, they just put on Cartoon Network and Cocomelon and whatever, and the kids just sit there for hours watching repeat while they busy like cleaning the house and so I think we must also just like balance it with like a bit of traditional.
I don't know. Okay, one last question from me, right?
Yeah.
You are so big on branding, right?
Yeah.
Can you please name top 5 managers in South Africa?
Top 5 managers.
Amapiano.
Love what Zuso, Mega, and Kai are doing. Like, love it. Wanna have a conversation with the guys, I think. No, like they don't. Like
I love when he says I love Zuzu, he just goes.
No, like they dope, man.
He's the shit. I've been saying he's the shit.
Yeah, like they dope. Love what Thuli's doing. You know, Thuli's dope. Who else do I know that is like a manager? I think so far, see the fact that I can't name five dope managers.
That's a big problem.
That's a big problem. And that's what Pori was saying on like Power FM, you know, that there's a management problem. Yeah, man. And I don't know any other managers that like have come out and built like proper management companies like that. And if they are, and they are artists that like are eating from that, maybe they just don't want to be known, you know? So I won't take away from how people like Bo Kamumpela branded, you know what I mean? I'm sure she's got an amazing management.
I was going to say.
Oh, Tutu
Buttons.
Tutu Buttons, what she's doing, Lebo Momo, Lebo Njelic is also quite dope, you know? Because I think for like a sound like Momo's to get to like commercial status, like you need to commend that.
And then maybe list well-branded artists?
Well-branded artists. I saw Waffles at that Louis Vuitton show. That's dope, man. You need to be in those.
She was on fire.
You need to be in those spaces, bro. I saw.
But that takes money, bro. Like, she look like $1 billion artist,
bro. But it is how you position yourself. You know, Foka was also at the Paris Fashion Week. He's got a picture of 2 Chainz. That's dope. You know, like if you're all going to ooze that energy, you know, like you need to be in those rooms and, you know, share stages or share chats with those people, you know. So Foka definitely. Love how Kabza has branded himself, you know. He's like the silent killer guy, you know. So we don't expect him to say much, but like we almost like just know when he's coming out, you know. And
you wanted to speak about his song, man. This is your chance.
Oh no. Yeah, so love how Kabza has branded himself. Let's look at the younger guys. I like how who else is like I also think you guys don't give Tyler enough clout, you know what I mean? I think what Tyler became and what Tyler was before becoming the almost like piano infused pop star is what maybe they wanted to do when getting into it, né? But Tyler's about it, bro.
About piano.
Yeah, Tyler's about it, bro. Like, there's a guy called Given Kumalo from Guatemala that's got like unreleased Tyler piano songs, and Tyler used to perform Bahamas, Tema, and like she ran those circles, you know, and I think it's very unfair to sit there because now she's almost like oozing very a poppy look and feel to say that she's not piano, because she gets on stages and like shouts out piano every single chance she gets. And that's commendable, because she could just say, I'm a pop star. So I think her and quite a few guys that like haven't come to mind.
Okay, that's all for me, Mafito. Do you have anything else?
No, I have nothing else, man. Thank you for coming to the show, man. This was very, very much like a piano, ID and masterclass. So, man, thank you for coming to the show. We enjoyed. I had so much fun. Tak, you still have questions?
No, I learned so much from you.
Yeah, that was really informative.
That's why we kept quiet for the long of it, because it wouldn't make sense for us to.
I think the biggest thing about this show, I love the show. I think let's, and this is to you guys, let's be crazy factual about certain things, let's be crazy factual. I consume, so I'm allowed to tell you shit because I'm a subscriber, I watch, and let's be factual. You guys are the guys that are supposed to know more than your listener, and at times it doesn't seem like it. So I think maybe just dive deep into that. If you've got something that you need to dissect or whatever, you know what I mean? People like me are here, and I think like let's just keep the synergy of us knowing more than the people that consume our shit.
Yeah.
And but you guys play a very important role, man. Like reason why I watch, and at times I have to sit through you guys talking about Lonely London, you know what I mean? It's because it is a very big platform and it won't last forever, won't last forever. So use the time that you've got now to really make an impact.
Thank you for the
because these Scorpion Kings live shows and whatever, you guys should be hosting those things, You guys should be hosting those things because you are the voice of this thing.
Thank you. We definitely take criticism very well. We took that one and we it's very constructive. We will work on that one. We promise you. I think from this episode going on forward, I think we're gonna do a lot much better. And thank you for that. For that, I'm gonna ask for your numbers so that I keep chatting.
I know, let's chat.
Yeah, and we have lunch and stuff like that because I just felt like I'm not done. I still have a lot of questions, but we don't have enough time. And thank you You're so knowledgeable, man.
No, man, this is dope, man.
That is very, very knowledgeable. We thank you so much for coming. That is all from us.
Thanks for the fake alcohol.
Piano Pulse, that was
that is not fake. We make it.
That was all from us, guys. Piano Pulse and the KRUK. Thank you.
Yeah, bro.
Emhlabeni kaJehova subscribe nina futhi nibabi if ubhekele channel for 10 minutes longer na subscribe umubi dog. That's why bakuchithela ngoba awuna commitment, unama commitment issues. Subscribe lapho ngeke sizwe ngawo.